Hi and welcome to Budget Model Railways. I'm back. So I've been on holidays, you know, for a couple of weeks, and Doug's been doing a sterling job doing some excellent videos. I'm only back for a week and then I'm off with the Army Cadets for 2 weeks, so you haven't got to put up with me for long. So while I've been away, Doug decided to completely redesign the shed, which is fine. And what he's done is he's added a fifth line to the fiddle yard, which is quite good because it gives us 5 lines. But he's got quite clever with it up towards here. That's a rather nice new Class 90 that he treated himself to on eBay very cheaply. There are a few bargains out there. I might show you another one I got in a minute. So what he's done is put in just an ordinary crossover here, which means that you connect to this road from a point down the other end. So he's put a curve point in just after the bridge, which means that that's given us actually what looks like a double line here. And then we're going to add a bit more here and do a bit more scenery is the plan, as always intended. Not urban scenes, we just put them there for fun at the moment. So it took in quite a bit of time, but it does mean that we now have 5 lanes. We have 5 lanes on the control board, which I believe now doesn't have to be done sequentially. So if you saw the earlier video, we had to do them sequentially. Now we don't. I'm sure Doug will explain at some point how he did that, won't you?
Diodes.
Diodes, apparently. There you go. I thought he was being rude.
Diode matrix.
Diode matrix, apparently. But it means we don't have to do them in sequence. And obviously we'll tidy all that up. But the other big change then, it was really interesting, one of these odd synchronicity moments while I was sat on a ship. As I was thinking about I needed to change the whole raised area, because I've got a different plan for this area, and I was thinking it would be nice to go back to first radius here. We've used this UF track that's quite a bit smaller over the other side, and it runs fine, but this wasn't working on the loop. As soon as I was thinking that, Doug had the same idea and needed to rip the loop out anyway to work on here. So what we're going to do, and Doug's going to show you in a minute, is we're going to use the laser cutter to cut some ply segments to do the first radius loop. So they'll be neat and accurate. Because we've now moved these shelves, so this used to have a load of shelves which we didn't need, like this, that came all the way over there. We've been able to move this as well out of the way, more this way. But it means that this loop can now go right into the corner, whereas before it had to start here. So we're hoping it means it won't impinge and we won't need all the supports. It also means that the vast majority of this area can then be scenic. Obviously this will have to be in a bit of a hill, otherwise it will look a bit odd. And we'll do a lift out section so we can get to this if we need to. But it will mean this whole section will be scenic. I might take the loop out. I was reading one of my favourite books about a particular Welsh line, and I quite like the idea of putting a little 2-sided quarry in there, because that would give us something different on the layout. So we could have a quarry in there, still have the hills and have the little in station in front. But I haven't worked on all that yet. So quite a lot of changes. So thank you very much for watching the videos. Really good viewing figures while I've been away, which is nice, but I guess people preferred the guest presenter. Or I will just get you that other loco. So Doug paid £35 for that, including postage. It's an immaculate Hornby Class 90. I also got, and this is going to form possibly part of another project, this, which is one of the nice little Hornby 040s. It's actually one of the more recent ones. It's only a couple of years old, and I only paid £13.50 for that, including postage. And it's a superb runner, even slowly off points. So there are still a few bargains out there. They're just very hard to come by. Oh, and I suppose I better show this other one. Let's see if we can, will it run? No. While I was away, Doug decided to treat himself. This is the older Hornby advanced passenger train, but he only paid £68. It did need some work, but of course Doug knows how to do that. Given how much the new ones are, I'm quite pleased with that. And that's going around first radius track, which you won't be able to do with the new one. So we do have a little bit of new. Doug likes his modern intercity, which I think is great. It's nice to get away from. And the fact that it's running for a steam age layout, of course, doesn't bother us at all. It does look particularly good on the fast track banging around, I will say. And of course, Doug's uprated the directional lights in it, which you saw in the earlier video. So I'll leave Doug now to go and do the other bits, and this may come out in a few weeks' time.
So then I have drawn this up on the computer, which is 1/8 of the curve, so it's the length of a double curve in first radius. The blue lines here are where the track sleepers will go, and the black lines are where it's going to cut. So it just gives us a little bit of room, and I measured that distance by putting in Mark 4 coach, which is the longest thing that we have, on a piece of first radius track and seeing how far it sticks out. So I'm going to go ahead and laser cut them.
So Doug's just shown you how these were printed, so there we go. So what I've suggested and we've done is we're going to put some little support pieces here, and the idea then obviously is they will just clip in like that, a bit like the old Brio track, and then they'll work their way round the corner. So that should work really well, and is obviously much neater and a good use of a laser cutter. And we're hoping to do a few more videos on laser cutters, just to show there's some other things you can do with them. We've seen people making baseboards out of them and buildings, but I think they are increasingly going to have a use in model railways. So we might, I know we've got a few more reviews of laser cutters to come, because we think we're all now really used to 3D printing, and that's almost kind of exploded what people are doing with 3D printing. But I think it's possible that the laser cutters are going to turn out to be as useful in different ways. But there we go, that's that bit. So there we go. So this is the curves Doug 3D laser cut, all stuck together, all on supports, all nice and level. Works around quite well. First radius, and then that will mean changing what we do here. So we've just been having quite a few discussions. We could take this straight out, move it all this way. We could move where the passing loop is. We could move where the station is. However, one of the ideas me and Doug was just having, as this is such a great looking bridge, is to have this as a little harbour, bit of a hill in the background, and potentially run a little 009 narrow gauge line through for our few bits of 009 3D printed rolling stock. Make that little harbour, bridge runs round. I would like a quarry up here, so we're going to have to spend a bit of time with track working out what we can do, but potentially a quarry and a little station up here anyway. So anyway, good little project between us today. Really pleased with what Doug's done. It's much neater and more secure than I'd have been able to do without a laser cutter. So yeah, really useful bit of kit, laser cutter. This is going to be much neater than the old one, but still I like the old one that I did as a if you like, a technology demonstrator to get, you know, the idea of swinging it all out. But as it happens, we can get a first radius in and not have to come out too much. So a good day's work. Thank you very much for watching the videos lately. Between me and Doug, we'll do a few more in the next few days.